I'm so pleased to have passed my ARCP. So I'm officially a CT2. When I first started training, one of the things that really scared me was ARCP. Now that I've done it, I can confirm that it's not that hard, it's not that intimidating, and I'll explain exactly what it means. Hello, my name is Dr. Sisi Atwine and I'm a Ghanaian medical doctor training in the UK. I'm currently a core psychiatry trainee year 2 and I recently just passed my ARCP. I'm here to explain exactly what it means and what it's all about. So I say passed in quotes because really it's not an exam that you actually have to sit and pass. ARCP stands for the Annual Review of Competencies Progression. It is the way doctors in training are reviewed each year to ensure they're offering safe, quality patient care and to assess their progression against standards set down in the curriculum for their training program. So basically it has 3 main purposes. The first is to confirm that you're ready to progress to the next training year. The second is the way that you're validated by the GMC. And the third is to ensure patient safety. So this basically means, are you doing what you should be doing as a doctor? Each year you have ARCP twice. The first will be halfway through your training program and that will be called an interim review. And the second is the final full ARCP, which is at the end of the training year. So at the interim review, you're expected to have covered at least half of all the requirements. And at the end, obviously, you should have covered all of them. The interim review is done in person or via video call in front of an interview panel. The panel has some people from medical education, which in my case included the training program director and 2 other people. So I had to share my screen and go through my e-portfolio while showing them all the evidence I had collected. So it's up to you to actually show them that you've done everything. The full ARCP is at the end of the training year when you should have gotten all the requirements. It is held in absentia, so you just wait anxiously on that day to hear what your outcome is. Even though I had covered everything, I was still a bit anxious and nervous and I kept refreshing my emails to see what the outcome was going to be. So as a trainee, you will have an electronic portfolio where you document all your different accomplishments. It's basically like a physical portfolio as well as a logbook online. If you remember the logbooks we had in medical school, this is just like that, in that there's a certain number of things that you have to do to pass. These things include exams, reflections, teaching, leadership, and workplace-based assessments. There are several workplace-based assessments like an ACE, mini ACE, and a CBD. All these terms can be confusing at first, but it's really simple. An ACE, for example, stands for an assessment of clinical expertise. So where you see a patient from start to finish, so you see the patient, take history, a full mental state examination, and have a management plan while your assessor is observing, and then they give you feedback at the end by filling in one of these online forms. I'll do a separate video on all the workplace-based assessments and what they mean, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. If you haven't already liked this video, then please do so. It can spread to more people and we can fight the fear of ARCP together. So there are 8 possible outcomes of the ARCP. The first is outcome 1, which means satisfactory progress, which is what I mean when I say that I passed. So it just means that everything is going on as expected for a trainee of your level. Outcome 2 means you need to develop some of the competencies. However, they don't think you need additional training time. So they let you move on, but you know that there's some things that you need to work on. Outcome 3 is inadequate progress. So you will need more time to develop your skills. So this just means that they add more time to your training. So for instance, they could add you like 6 more months to finish your training. Outcome 4 is released from training. So basically you failed. This would be the worst case scenario and probably is a last resort. They don't just do this anyhow. They will probably have warned you in advance or try to see how they can sort it before giving you this outcome. Outcome 5 is incomplete evidence, which means you didn't include something like, let's say, your GMC certificate or CV. So they just add you a little more time for you to go ahead and submit it. So for instance, in my trust, they give you just 2 more weeks to submit all your required evidence. And then they will give you another outcome at the end of this. Outcome 6 is the best one, which means you have gained all the required competencies. So you have finished your training successfully, either at the end of core training or higher training, and you can now get your CCT, which is the Certificate of Completion of Training. Hooray! Outcome 8 means you have taken some time out of training. So for instance, you're doing some research or you're taking a career break. How cool is it that you're actually allowed to take a career break? Like this video if you agree. Not assessed is the final outcome. So in this outcome, it basically means they can't give you a proper outcome because you're away, for instance, on maternity leave. So I did get this outcome once while I was on maternity leave. So ARCP is repeated every year until you become a GP or a consultant. One of the requirements of ARCP is attempting your college exams. I explained how I am able to pass postgraduate medical exams even as a busy mom in this video.